Did Ryan Cohen just sell all of his Bed Bath & Beyond shares? Is the short squeeze over, or is this all FUD? These are the questions that speculators like myself are all asking after it was revealed yesterday, that's August 17th, that activist investor Ryan Cohen filed a Form 144. That form is used when a company affiliate like Ryan Cohen intends to either sell 5,000 shares of stock or 50,000 shares of stock, regardless of how many shares that actually is. There are other aspects of an SEC Form 144 that apply when you're talking about a company that is not publicly traded or when the shares are restricted. But Bed Bath & Beyond is publicly traded, and Ryan Cohen bought all his shares on the open market, so these rules don't apply. So what do we know? This is what we know to be fact. Fact number 1, Ryan Cohen, through his firm RC Ventures, acquired over 7.5 million shares of Bed Bath & Beyond between January 13th and March 3rd of 2022. Now, given where that price was at the time, this means he picked up most of his shares between $13 and $17. He also bought over 16,000 call options with strikes at $60, $75, and $80. Most of them were at the $60 strike. Fact number 2, Ryan Cohen revealed an approximately 10% stake in Bed Bath & Beyond on March 6th. The board of Bed Bath & Beyond agreed to place 3 new board members with Cohen's direction, and he recommended some changes to the company, like spinning off or selling the BBBY Baby brand. And fact number 3, yesterday on August 17th, Ryan Cohen filed a 144 that's legally required before he can sell his shares because he's an affiliate with the company. The filing revealed an intention to sell 7.78 million shares and all of his call options, which represent about 1.8 million more shares. Those are the facts. That's what we know to be true. But when he filed his Form 144, does that mean that he sold his shares? No, it does not. It means that he could have sold his shares as soon as he filed that form. It does not mean that he actually did so. He could have sold all of his shares on August 17th, and that 7.7 million shares would have easily been wrapped up in the day's 261 million share volume. And by the way, that's more than 4 times the float, which means that there are a ton of people out there buying and selling multiple times per day. It's even possible that the 10% dip on Bed Bath & Beyond shares on August 17th, 20 minutes before market close, that may have been Ryan Cohen selling his shares. But we don't know that to be the case. In fact, we saw a very similar drop days prior. And obviously, Cohen wasn't selling prior to August 17th because he was not allowed to do so since he didn't file the Form 144 until the 17th. That end of the day dip on August 17th might look like it was an insider selling shares, but we don't know that to be the case because we've seen it happen prior when an insider was not selling. As for his calls, the $60, $75, and $80 strikes all have enough open interest in volume that he could have sold all of his calls and we probably wouldn't have noticed because there are a lot of speculators right now also trading those calls. So where does that leave us? What do we have to assume? This will be a hard pill to swallow, but we must assume that Cohen intends to sell if he has not already done so. The SEC says that a filer must have a bona fide intention to sell after filing a Form 144. That sale must be achieved within a reasonable time frame, and in this case, that means 90 days. You can't file a 144 for funsies. You can't file a 144 to manipulate the stock price lower so that you can buy more shares. You can't file a 144 to troll the mainstream media, the SEC, and the hedge funds. We must assume that Ryan Cohen really does intend to sell, and that he's not risking an SEC violation and destroying his reputation as an activist investor just so that he can have some fun, or just so that he can troll the SEC. We're not talking about Elon Musk. I'm seeing some crazy things on Wallstreetbets, which is no surprise. I'm seeing people say that Ryan Cohen must file a Form 144 every 90 days because he's an affiliate with a more than 10% stake. That does not make any sense. That is blatantly false. In fact, it would be a violation to do so. You do not need to file a 144 every 90 days. You only need to do that, and you should only do that if you actually intend to sell your shares. I'm also seeing people on Wallstreetbets say that he's filing a 144 so that he can sell his shares within the next 90 days. And that actually is true. But these people are of the belief that Bed Bath & Beyond is going to $500 in the next 3 months. And they believe that Ryan Cohen is filing a 144 now so that he can immediately sell his shares when it does, because he's already got a 144 on file. This theory kind of does make sense. You must file a 144 as an affiliate before you can sell your shares. But what does not make sense here is that you can immediately sell your shares after you file a 144. There's no waiting period in between. So there's really no reason for Ryan Cohen to file a 144 now in anticipation of selling within the next 3 months. If he really wanted things templated out, he He could have just had the form already completed, signed and dated at his intended time to sell, and done so immediately. He knows very well that the stock price is going to decrease after he files his form, so there's really no reason for him to do so well in advance, tank the stock price, and then sell his shares later. Our best bet is that Ryan Cohen actually does intend to sell his shares, if he hasn't done so already. He's not doing it to troll the SEC. He's not doing it to stay flexible. He's not doing it because he's required every 90 days. He's filing the 144 because he intends to sell. My play was to downsize. I had some shares in my 3K challenge account. I sold some of them yesterday after market close for about $21.50. I was up big on them. If you have a huge gain right now, I recommend downsizing your position. The people that bought at $27, those bags are already pretty heavy, and they're going to get heavier. Just like the people who bought GameStop at $400, a year and a half later, they are almost back to halfway there. Speculating on things like this is fun. It can be lucrative. Please do not get crazy buying into all kinds of theories about what's happening here. The answers are generally right in front of us. Again, we're not talking about Elon Musk. This is Ryan Cohen. Do what you will with that information. Have fun, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.